again, everyone. I'm here to swatch out some new Birmingham inks. These are part of their crisp ink collection that they released fairly recently. And I just picked a selection of colors that appealed to me, and that's what I'm going to be swatching today. I also wanted to show you this other item that I purchased from Birmingham. So this is a nib. They carry nibs, and they do have some sort of unusual sizes, and this particular one is a 0.8 stub. And I've been doing a lot of nib swapping lately, so that's why I got this one. They also have a 0.6 stub that's sort of an unusual size, but it just comes in this little container, which is very convenient. And then, oops, let's see if I can get that out of there. There we go. And then there you go. So this is a number 6 size nib, so I'll be able to interchange it with another size 6 nib on a different pen, probably one of my less expensive pens, and replace the less expensive nib with this. But I did want to let you know that they do have nibs on their website. So I have my fountain pen ink swatch book here, ready to go. This is just the materials that came from Birmingham. There's an invoice in here. They usually also include some off-white test paper that you can use, and then they always include this little paper clip. Sometimes I think they also have one that's shaped like a pen, but this one is shaped like a bottle of ink, probably because I ordered ink, which is nice of them to do that. And then here is just the postcard that they include, and a little business card that's made out of cork, which is kind of nice. All right, so I'm going to put all of those off to the side, and I have my swatching tools. I'm just going to be using this Moonman dip pen for this. This is like a glass pen, but it's made of plastic. This one's a little more convenient sometimes than my glass pen, because my glass pen is in a little container and it's a little more delicate. This one I don't have to be so precious with. And then this is an automatic pen. There is a link to this product in the video that I'm going to link below that shows the setup for this particular notebook. And I always get asked what size this is, so this is a 3A automatic pen, and it works pretty well in this context. I probably actually could have gone a little larger for swatching in here, but this one works fine. And I could also use it for lettering, but I don't. All right, so let's see. Okay, so I think I'm going to start a new page here so that I can do them across these 2 pages, because I have not marked off these sections. I'll do that now. Basically, I just have a Sharpie pen in here, and this is a pencil board that I have in this Taroko Shop A6 notebook that I'm using for this purpose, and then I just use the markings from the previous page to notate where I'm going to separate out the little sections. And I do 1 page at a time just because of the width of the pencil board. Can't go all the way across, and then I just extend the line to the other side. Very easy. At some point I'll have to replace this Sharpie pen because it's been in here for quite a while and it looks like it may be running out of ink, but it still works, so until it doesn't work anymore, I'm going to leave it in there. So let me just put my pencil board back there for the time being. So this is, let's see, 5 different inks. So I'm going to go down one side and then have one on the next page. This ink on the other side is a little bit strongly pigmented, so you can see a little bit of it, but I always swatch on the other side, so that shouldn't interfere. And I'll just go through quickly the names of the inks that I've gotten, and then I'll zoom in as I go into each individual swatch here. So I got Stormwater Runoff, Kentucky Bluegrass, Pitted Nickel, Ohio River, and Hydrangea. So I tried to kind of put them in somewhat of a color order, but we'll see. And then I also have some water off to the side to clean off my tools in between the colors. So let me go ahead and zoom in pretty good so that you can get a pretty good look at each of these individual colors. And then before I end, I will bring it up closer to the camera so you can see it even closer. All right, so I'm going to start with this Stormwater Runoff color. I always love the names of their inks. I like that they also kind of pick sort of grungy things to be their ink colors. So this one seemed like almost like a darker version of the projector film ink that they have, which I like and have. And this is very nice. I like this. I'm really warming up to more sort of dingy looking colors. I think they're quite interesting, actually. Okay, so, and they rinsed off this automatic pen like almost immediately. So I think they're going to be a little less easy to clean than some of their other inks, perhaps, especially their new, I think they call it their thick formula or rich formula. That's what it's called. And that is the one that has the sheening inks in it. And those were also a fairly new release, but they're always changing their colors. Okay, so this is Birmingham. I'm just going to put Birmingham, not the full Birmingham Pen Company, because that's what they're called. Because they do make pens as well. And then this is Stormwater Runoff. And I think the idea behind, oh, that rinsed, I mean, you don't even need to wipe it off. I just dipped it in the water and it came off. So one of the ideas behind this crisp formula is that it will work on paper that might not otherwise be fountain pen friendly. I'm obviously testing these on a fountain pen friendly notebook. This is Tomoe River paper. But at some point I may do a little bit of a test on sort of unfriendly fountain pen paper. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't think I have time or the paper today to do that for you. So this next one is Kentucky Bluegrass. And we'll see if the entire collection washes off that easily. If so, this might be a good type of ink to include in like a demonstrator pen where you might want to switch out colors often, but you don't want it to stain. Yeah, again, that just came out pretty easily. Let me see the back side. Yeah, and they don't seem to be bleeding. Oops, you can't see that. They don't seem to be bleeding through to the other page really at all, which is kind of nice. So perhaps the overall impression of these is that they are well behaved. These might also be good for vintage pens where you don't want there to be a lot of buildup of ink. I think they call it crisp formula because you're not going to get bleeding on lower quality papers. I think that's why they called it that. Oops. Birmingham. Very hard to talk and write at the same time. And then this is Kentucky Bluegrass. Okay, so this one didn't come off as easily, but it took a couple of dips instead of just one in the water. But so far, much easier than a lot of other brands of ink. All right, so let's smooth this up a little bit more, and we'll do the Pitted Nickel, which is the next color. And what I'm already noticing as these are drying, first off, they dry pretty fast, it seems. And second off, it seems like they dry very matte looking, which is kind of consistent with some of the other inks that I've gotten from Birmingham, other than the recent release of the rich formula ones. It often seems like they dry fairly matte in the look. And it looks like you can get a little bit of shading from these. It's not super pronounced, but there is a little bit of shading. Okay, and then This is Birmingham. Pitted nickel. That's lovely. It's got a little bit of blue in there, but it's still on the green side. And that one also, I just dipped it once and pretty much all of the pigment came off there. So of the three, it seems like this Kentucky Bluegrass was the most staining, but again, it was very lightly staining. And then this next one is Ohio River. It's more of a blue. Oops. Oh, that's lovely. Just making sure you can see it. I had to look back over. That's a very lovely blue. I really am a sucker for blues. I feel like I have so many blues that are probably very similar in my ink collection, but I tend to use them pretty much all the time. So I think blue is probably the favored color. I don't have a lot of greens, which is kind of why I wanted to get some of these interesting greens here. All right, and then again, this is Birmingham. Ohio River. Well, if the Ohio River is that color, it's beautiful. And this one seemed a little bit more staining too, but not a whole lot. These two have been the ones that are a little bit harder to get the color off of the tools. But like I said, still compared to most other inks, it's pretty well behaved. Okay, so I'm going to go over to this side now, and then I'm going to do this last one, which is Hydrangea, which is more of a blue or a purple lavender. Trying not to get too much color in my automatic pen. That's beautiful, fairly light. It's probably a little bit less purple than I thought it was going to be. It's a pretty blue purple. We'll see what happens when it dries. These seem to dry very fast, so I don't think it's going to be an issue of you seeing what they look like, at least mostly dry. Okay. And here we have Birmingham again. Hydrangea. Oh, and that one again, just one pass at the water and all of the pigment came out. Okay, so I'm going to close up this last bottle, and then I am going to put these up to the camera. I think the Hydrangea will probably be the most wet. The others are pretty much dry. Stormwater Runoff, Kentucky Bluegrass, and as you can see, this is completely dry, and so is this one. They look very, very matte. They don't have any sheen or shine whatsoever. Birmingham Pitted Nickel, there's still a little spot that's wet down there on the bottom, but this one seems pretty monotone, but you can get some shading there in the writing. The shading, I think, is very subtle with all of these. And then here is the Ohio River, which I think is probably my favorite, but you know, that how predictable am I with the blue. And then this is the Hydrangea. So I would say that that middle portion there, right in here, is pretty much dry. There's a little bit of wet still, as you can see on the sides. And then this is completely dry already, and you can see how light it is, but it's still legible. So if you're looking for sort of a lighter lavendery purple that is still legible, this might be a good choice. And it looks like This one and Kentucky Bluegrass probably have the most character. Maybe this one as well, Ohio River. But there we go. I just wanted to swatch those for you all, and we're done with that. So feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Feel free to make comments or ask questions below, and I'll answer when I can. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.